I've just had to have a really difficult conversation. I hate difficult conversations, whether it's with staff, contractors, suppliers, customers. Nobody likes having difficult conversations. There's a few people in life that I think it like suits them better if you've got a confrontational type attitude, but just knowing myself and kind of seeing myself out the last few years, I've realised like I try and avoid confrontation wherever possible, which I think is smart, but I've been leaning too far one way in trying to avoid confrontation. Ideally, you'd be in the middle. And some people are a little bit more confrontational, some people are a bit less. I'm a bit in the. I'm probably a bit below the middle, and it hasn't served me well. There's many things that have gone on for weeks, months, and years where I could have had the same conversation I've just had a year ago, and been a year ahead. I've heard this saying. I don't know who it's from, but the quality of your life is directly proportional to the level of having difficult conversations with other people, of how quickly you just jump on it, nip it in the bud straight away. I had to have a difficult conversation, an email I suppose, to a customer this week, because we supply and fit artificial grass, and this customer's a friend of a really good customer of mine, and he wants this one very specific artificial grass, this one very specific grass that's a lot more expensive than ours, but he just said that's what his wife wants, that's what they're going to have, so they're going to have it. And the grass is about double the price of ours. And there was the manufacturer, I rang them and said, hey, do you do a trade discount? And they said it was 10% off. But the customer had also rung them and asked about the 10% off. So we split the quote, grass, and then everything else, the fitting, the waste, the materials, everything else. And we split them up. So obviously he's thought, well, we'll take your grass price off and we'll put that on at the 10% off rate. And I had to email and say, hey, look, I can't give you the 10% off because with you going with this other supplier, I'm now losing all of my margin out of the job. It's already less profitable, even though the job total is more because he wants to go with the more expensive grass. My margin is now less. And I said to him, look, at a bare minimum, I've got to keep that 10% because that's less than what I would make on the grass, which I wouldn't usually even divulge into that conversation. I've kind of broken my rule a little bit because with most customers, I'm just like, you buy our grass, we fit our grass, or we can't do it for you. And I've kind of broken my rule a little bit for him because he's also in the trade, so he kind of gets it. And I think when I sent the email off, I don't know what he thought, but he rang back and said, yeah, okay. We didn't really go into it, but he read the email about the extra 10% off. The lack of the 10% off. And it's just like, I could have just ate that, but why? I'm not going to eat that. I'm just going to have the difficult conversation. I'm going to send the difficult email. I'm going to send the difficult text. Ideally, I like to do things in person, but this is a busy guy, so I emailed him, or at least over the phone. But there's been many of these things in life going on where I just need to have the conversation. Like, there's probably something for you right now. What's one thing for you right now where you've been thinking about having this conversation with it could be in work, it could be a supplier, another contractor, a subcontractor, a customer, where there's been this ongoing thing that's giving you like this anxiety, and you're up thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, you go to sleep thinking about it, you eat lunch thinking about it. Because every single time I've had one of these conversations, I've made the difficult phone call, every single time, without a doubt, I've felt better afterwards. As much as the pain is to do it, I've felt so much better afterwards. And although this conversation I've had today with the lads is, I'm not feeling good about it, I feel better now it's out and everything's laid on the table. I feel so much better. So if there's something that you've been putting off, just go and do it because you'll feel so much better afterwards. There's a few other things that I'm thinking about, like 3-4 other these conversations that I need to have, and I just need to have them because you keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and there's this anxiety that builds up in you, and your chest is really tight, and it's like, I don't even know how to explain. I don't think I have to explain it, because you already know what I mean about these difficult conversations. I'll see you in the next video.